Weaver!
Go ahead, Hudson.
Mason's still dark. We work our way through the research facility and extract Steiner.
Yankee squad, we're moving.
Alpha squad, let's roll.
Copy that, we're on the move.
And welcome back. You're probably seeing this about 4 hours after you saw the last one. But we are still on Rebirth Island, but we're Hudson and Weaver this time. And we're going to take the ass kicking to some Russians. Mason, of course, had just snuck into the facility and kind of murdered our objective. But two people did come in and stop him afterwards, and we're going to find out about that. This section is pretty straightforward. You can fire grenades, and you shoot minigun, and it pretty much works. You can still shoot your own guys without too much issue. I don't know. I don't really like this section because if you're like me and you didn't do a test video, you might not realize that the balconies all over the place will contain people who will shoot you pretty much dead immediately. Everyone on this island has a friggin' RPG, and they are not afraid to use them. You're going to see a jump cut here in a moment. There it goes. As you can tell, the Jeep moved to a different location after that cut. It's because in this section here I died because every Russian in the world spawned on the right of me instead of in front of me or my left. So I really had no recourse against them at the time. But this level is going to actually get interesting once we get the fuck out of this vehicle. Right now we're killing civilians like we're Americans, and we'll see why, and I'll explain it when we get there. But we're ridiculous close. Yeah, just stand right there next to me. I'm only gunning down your entire team. Alright, helicopter. You know how to deal with helicopters. No, we don't. Run away. That worked. So, this is where the level gets interesting. You notice everyone's in hazmat suits, and they just dropped canisters on us. So, we have a gas mask. Also, we have a bunch of dead friends. So, as you can see, I've got really poor visibility, but I've got to fight people. So, I'm switching to my thermal scoped Enfield, which is pretty much the worst weapon you could have given a thermal scope to for this section. The Enfield is really bouncy, and it's not super great at distances, doesn't do really great damage. So I'm kind of upset, but it does give me an HK drum mag, which is pretty amazing. So if you know what you're doing, you can be okay. And as you can see, I've been hit a couple times here, and I do die in this section. I leave that in to show off one of the mechanics. But in this section of the level, you have your regenerating health, but you have an overall health. Think of it like the way people play Halo, or have the old health system worked in Halo. Where you had an overall health rating, and then you had regenerating our shield. And that's pretty much what this plays like, and it plays pretty much completely different than the current Call of Duty model does, which I think is actually pretty interesting. But this section suffers more or less from stuff I talked about in the previous video, which is if you don't know what you're about to run into, you might get completely fucked. Because, there we go. If you don't know there's going to be balconies ahead or anything like that, you are going to get killed like that. But here's the positive: when you die, if you hit a checkpoint beforehand, you get full health, which is pretty much a godsend. But it also teaches you where to expect these guys. So by waiting a couple seconds, I can pretty much get out of this with a few dings and scratches to the hazmat suit, but nothing too bad. You can steady, of course, you can steady your aim when you're using the thermal scope, as you can see at the top of the screen there. But I really don't use that very often. I'm not used to using scopes like this. But enemies still have pretty much laser accuracy, so you got to be really cautious in this section because they will put you down pretty easily. And without too much rebuke possible, because they can see in this shit and you can't. It's interesting, and I didn't even realize I had a master key on this gun until I'm watching this video. which I regret not showing off or having an opportunity to show off, because I love the Master Key with a fiery passion. It's one of my top weapons in the game, and I really feel bad that I didn't show it off in the entire playthrough so far. But I dropped my HK. I've accepted reality here. I've gone with the dual mag AK-74. Pretty much from here on out, we're not going to see new guns in this game. And here, once again, I'm showing the basically best way to play this level, which is slowly as hell. If you can avoid popping out and looking at anything, you should do it. So right here, the thermal scope can be a little disorienting, because even if it zooms in exactly where you think it does or you think it should, you can't always make out the background features. So if you're not familiar with the level and you aren't really sure what's going on, a thermal scope can be a mixed blessing. In multiplayer, it's useful in a lot of the maps, because if they're not running Ghost or whatever, I think in Ninja, that or Hacker, that eliminates thermal imaging, it makes things a lot easier in a lot of cases to shoot people down. In Modern Warfare 3, it turns LMGs into friggin' laser cannons, so there's no reason not to use it. But up here is pretty much the end of this section. Once we get through this battle, which I barely survive, this section is basically over. I still haven't learned how to throw grenades in this game. And I'm getting this weird thing where it's showing me getting hit from behind. What it meant to show me was where I get hit by the helicopter. But it showed me getting hit from behind me. And here we go, Strellas. Strellas are the dedicated anti-air weapon of Black Ops. They replaced the Stingers in Modern Warfare 2 and 3, and they're pretty good. They lock on pretty quickly, and they take them out like they're supposed to. I mean, there's not a lot to say with those. And I pick up my trusty dual mags AK. Yeah, this is, I thought it was a nifty little section. I really think it's one of the better sections of the game in terms of atmosphere and, if not overall gameplay. It's just an interesting change from what you just experienced, or you've been experiencing with all your on-foot sections earlier. So I was pretty glad to have that section, to be honest. Even if I was going to complain the entire time about, the not being able to see thing and having to use a bouncy-ass gun, I still think it was one of the better done sections of the game compared to what it could have been, or what it could have been if this wasn't Black Ops. So I've picked up my trusty RPK again. We're ready to make our pretty much final assault on this base. This section can be kind of annoying, even if you know what's coming. Even before I got to it, I realized this was the level that had that one part I really didn't like when I played through it. And I thought I was mistaken, I was making that up in my head, and then I saw this building. And I realized, oh no, it's that section. Most of this game, even the wide open spaces, give you pretty decent cover. In this section, you've got two options. You can charge this thing head on, get shot from the windows, get shot from this little area here where these guys have cover, and get shot from behind all the cars out there. Or you can do what I just did and come up on this staircase here, which I find to be the better solution. Now, if you don't know that there's going to be a basically small army of people shooting you from everywhere possible, you can get really fucked up in this section and spend a little more time than you want to here. I don't know how I survived. I was actually amazed that I didn't just get shotgunned as soon as I turned a corner. And I've picked up another gun. Actually, I think I've picked up this one before. Oh, yes. It's an AK. For a second, I couldn't recognize it with the giant-ass sight on it. But it's 74. Yeah, it's just, like I said, pretty much from here on out, you don't see a lot of new guns. I think there's one new gun in the last mission of the game, or there's maybe one or two. But outside of that, not a lot of new stuff. And here, I was smart. I was so smart with that. And then I almost got wasted by this guy. I had no idea there was somebody in that room. I figured Weaver would have at least pretended to shoot at him. And once again, I'm so smart.
This way! The biolab is below us!
Alright, well, sit down, Weaver. I got things to kill. Yeah, I like the invincible allies not yelling at you and you actually being able to shoot them in this game, because it means if I have to shoot a guy that's behind Weaver, I can just go ahead and shoot right through him. And in this section, I didn't realize I had to keep walking forward. So I spent like a minute going through my guns. As you can see, I don't have a lot of ammo for that RPK. So we will be dropping that as soon as possible. Remember how my TV is kind of dark? This is what happens when you play on a dark TV. And to compare us, this place is lousy with them. But this should start to look familiar as the biolab that we were in for a little while. And I picked up the 74U with a grenade launcher again. It's going to be good times. Now, if you realize you're going to have to go through this section, you'll pick up something like this, where you can kind of do an area of effect, because you will be going up against some of the guys you really thought you killed while you were Mason. And check out some Nova 6 victims. I tried to direct impact kill this guy and he almost got me twice. I wanted to show off that you can kill people by throwing or shooting grenades at them. But I kind of fucked up there. So this section is made almost trivial by this grenade launcher, by the way. If you, like these guys here, bam, pretty much done. Except for this guy, apparently. But it's just knowing your weapons is going to be important. And remember this room where we totally killed about 40 people? Yeah, it repopulated while we were gone. So, I mean, it's once again fairly trivial to just clear out the last vestiges of enemies and kind of move forward. But, you know, that's how the game works. So apparently Hudson knows the codes for this place. And I'll see you guys next time.
We have to stop him now!
Damn, it's bulletproof! Mason, what are you doing? We need him alive! Stand down! Stand down!
My name is Victor Reznov, and I will have my
Revenge! Mason, no!
I'm fine! Check Steiner! He's dead. What about Reznov, the defector? We need to find him.
We won't. He was never here. I didn't believe it till I saw it with my own eyes. What did they do to you in Vorkuta, Mason?
Steiner dead. Mason's our only link to the numbers broadcasts.
We need to bring him back.
Let's go. This way! It will take us to the dock. This is Weaver. We have the package. We're on our way.
Copy that. We're taking the docks now.
What the hell did they do to you, Mason?
Mason, my friend, tell me, what is left to believe in when you are betrayed by your own? When all that you are, all that you have done, is buried beneath the lies and the deceit of corrupt men. I would die in this wretched place. The only thing that keeps me alive is the thirst for vengeance. They must be stopped, Mason. Dragovich, Steiner, Kravchenko. All must die.